I'm gay. It's like I'm not gay. Oh, I can read it. Come on, sensitivity.
Why are you keep inviting?
This is not a lucky game. I'm built so high, y'all. He's got talk.
What?
He got done, bro.
Well, what question? What's something getting back on? I haven't got on.
The other guy thought I was playing. Tar 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 tar, anusara was tar.
Better go pee in the bushes.
Don't fuck me. key. How you can open that bitch?
If I'm being honest, it's either pee on yourself or go pee on the bush. If I'm being honest.
You joking? I go pee in the bush.
For real.
I'm not a boy, I'm a girl.
And
I like bullshit like that, it's so weird.
No, it's not. You do not. If you, I knew it. Oh, that was a lag.
I got can you use your whistling real quick? No. I can't hear it.
What do you want?
Can you cut this TV up?
What's the TV show?
They don't have the name.
Voice changers. No matter who you were, you talk into the thing, you get sexy, sneering Ghostface voice.
Surprise, Sydney.
Side note, Roger L. Jackson's voice performance is one of the best things of the franchise. Dude kills it, just like he does when he's Mojo freaking Dojo. But in Scream 3, the new device allows you to perfectly imitate another human being's voice and speak original words and sentences.
Dude, it's kind of voice.
That's just, like, phonemes don't work that way.
Talking about how much fun it's gonna be to rip your insides out.
You can't do that from the other side of a door with a little handheld device. That's insane. The Scream movies are bound in realism. Their whole premise is staked on the fact that this is our world with our rules and logic. This voice changer, especially when it's such a huge part of the plot, completely undercuts the movie. Not that there's not plenty of other stuff that's bad here. The convoluted gas explosion death is like a mousetrap of factors leading up to it. And everyone knows the mousetrap setup never goes off without a hit. Two Roman shots taken 28 years apart are about to have the same lighting, blocking, and composition as each other. And there's no realistic way that Roman could have stopped his pulse at the perfect time for Dale to check in and determine who was dead. Speaking of Roman, can you think worse Ghostface?
I got poop.
Decent competition.
Oh God.
They picked the most bland and forgettable dude to be the big reveal in the end. When he takes his mask off, even Sid just stares blankly, trying to remember who he is before he has to tell him.
I'm the Bridger director.
Oh, you mean the dude who wore glasses in every other scene in this movie? And while I'm not entirely against retconning during a series, making Roman the evil mastermind behind Millions Stew takes away from those characters.
The director, Sid.
Yeah, Roman, that's like the one and only thing we know about you. We got it. On the subject of fake movies, it's dumb that they're making Stab 3, but have location sets and props from Scream 1, which was already covered in Stab 1 in Scream 2. I can't with this. Some of these points may seem like nitpicking, but they're all symptomatic of a film that just didn't care enough to try to be a good Scream movie. Maybe it's because it was the only Scream not written by Kevin Williamson, the guy who came up with the series in the first place. I could go on and on about problems I have with this movie.
Yellow.
The scary ghost bombs and the severely toned down
You
kills.
laugh.
I have 3 more movies to cover, so I should probably wrap this up by the things I did like about it. Even in a sea of wasted actors, Parker Posey manages to stand out and give a fun performance that makes her scenes actually entertaining to watch. We get a Carrie Fisher cameo, that's never not good. I'm also down with how they handled and concluded the Dewey Galahad. Hashtag Team Dewey. Kincaid's partner Wallace is like the Creed Bratton of the movie. Not in it a lot, but funny when he is.
He was making a movie called Stab. He was stabbed. This is the scene where you come with us.
After they realized how much of a mistake it was to kill Randy in part 2, I like that they came up with a halfway decent way to work him into the third movie. And, I don't know, man, that might be it. This movie sucks. Number 3. Coming in at number 3 is Scream 2. I had a real hard time coming to a decision on these middle 2 spots, and I'll admit that the amazing podcast We Hate Movies might have influenced me a little bit when they covered this movie. I like Scream 2 enough. It at least tries to be a respectable movie, unlike the cartoony part 3, and it still focuses mainly on Sidney, which is less true in the movies that follow. That family is great to make the trust issues Sid has because of the first one. The new additions to the cast are all solid, including Liev Schreiber as a wigged-out Cox Weary, aggressively trying to prove he's innocent, and Laurie Metcalf as a straight-up crazy lady. And there's an impressive increase in the brutality of kills. It may be less creative than the ones in the original, but they're just as serious, and of course, a lot more numerous. But on closer examination, you'll find weird things that probably came from the super rushed production and the continuous on-set script rewrites. One of the biggest examples is Mickey being the killer, a Ghostface reveal just as lame as Roman. The dude seriously isn't seen once in the 45 minutes minutes preceding his big reveal. What kind of shit is that? And that's coming from someone who loves Timothy Olyphant and the way he manages to rock my hairline. It's the last scene we see him in before the big climax that also single-handedly knocks this movie below Scream 4. It's that god-awful cafeteria scene where Sid's boyfriend Derek starts giving a performance of the Partridge Family that absolutely nobody asked for or wanted.
I think I love you. Isn't that what life is made of?
This bit goes on forever as he dances around on tabletops like he's a polo-shirted Fred Astaire. Add in Mickey's obnoxious dancing and him trying to orchestrate the rest of the students in this cafeteria when they're just trying to grab lunch between classes, and my body is clenching with secondhand embarrassment. To top it all off, the background music sounds like it's from a corporate retreat video scored by the Verve. In general, Scream 2 feels like an imitation of the original that needed more time in the oven. You can also shave off like 10 minutes. The thing is 2 hours long. What are you trying to do, Scream 2? Win an Oscar? Take out the thespian Sydney storyline. That's not doing anything, other than setting up for a ridiculous climax wherein Laurie Metcalf is partially defeated by foam rocks and fake paper flames. That's as silly as the idea of a knife going through a bathroom stall partition cleanly and accurately enough to kill a dude. It's as silly as not demasking or choking out Ghostface when you're climbing over his unconscious body. It's as silly as that film class discussion that's just an excuse for the movie to be meta and give Joshua Jackson some acting practice after the Mighty Ducks movies. Basically, this is a movie that tried to be serious and ended up a little silly, which is admittedly better than Scream 3, a movie that tried to be silly and ended up a flaming trash can of a movie. Number 2. Like I said, I had a hard time deciding, but my number 2 Scream movie is Scream 4. Ultimately, I think it came down to Scream 4 having great gore and not having that horrendous cafeteria scene. God damn, I hate that thing. I'll be honest and say I was kind of fundamentally against this movie even existing, since I felt like the Scream storyline was pretty strongly concluded after the OT. But it is fun to check back in on so many characters over a decade after we last saw them. Also, I greatly appreciate how Scream 4 course corrects the tone of the series after Scream 3 veered uncontrollably towards comedy. The movie does a good job bringing the series out of the 90s, updating the technology to include live streams and viral videos, and updating its genre commentary to include discussions about reboots and the Saw-type movies that have come out since Scream 3.
It's not scary, it's gross. I hate all that torture porn shit.
Stab being on the 7th installment is pretty funny, and that joke's part of the double fake-out meta opening, which doesn't make complete sense when you really think about it, but is a perfect culmination of how the series talks directly to the audience. There's still a lot of things that bug me, though. Woodsboro looks distractingly different, although that might just come from my recognition of the shooting location, Ann Arbor, Michigan, home of the leaders and best. I don't like all the red herring characters who are creepy for no reason. Scream 3 was bad enough with Kincaid and Angelina, but Scream 4 is worse, with Deputy Judy emerging from the shadows like she's about to ask where her precious is, and Sydney's Aunt Kate talking wistfully and making midnight grocery runs. Also, it's a relatively small thing, but where did they come up with their big rule for horror remakes?
In fact, the only surefire way to survive a modern horror movie, you pretty much have to be gay.
Maybe I just haven't seen enough reboots, but can any of you give me any examples of this supposed phenomenon? I'm also a little annoyed that they didn't have the guts to kill off any of the main characters. If you're coming back to an established series after such a long absence, air that shit out, man. Inject some life with a jab. Really Force Awakens it. Instead, all 3 OG Scream stars survive, even though Courtney Cox is sidelined for almost the entire third act. At least the Ghostface reveals make sense, as obnoxious as the characters are. Both Charlie's trademark entitled nice guy and Jill's if they had wiped all that Vaseline off the camera lenses when they shot the best movies of the 90s. There's a reason this movie. It was self-aware, it was funny, and it was scary too, dude. The opening scene to Scream is one of the greatest opening sequences in the whole movie. Not only does it establish right away that but it freaking kills off Drew Barrymore just 12 minutes in. That chick was all over all the trouble materials. It's a perfect scene of ever heightening tension. Falls to the Jiffy Pop Stove Top Fire, and both deaths in it are graphic enough to let you know this isn't just going to be a comedy. In fact, this one's got the infamous garage door death, as well as the shocking end to Stu Hawkins. And do you even want to get me started on the tour de force that Matthew Lillard gives?
Ow, liver. It was a joke.
Yeah, it might be a little over the top sometimes, but he's giving it his all, as is the rest of the cast. Neve Campbell establishes Sidney Prescott as a strong yet relatable income stream, and would remain the strongest asset of Scream for the entire series run. Jamie Kennedy lost so much goodwill as Randy that I saw Malibu's Most Wanted in theaters, and Skeet Ulrich as Sidney's entitled boyfriend Billy Blue Spaces are the best two of the series. They're a great combination of reason and chaos. The mastermind, mad about Maureen Prescott's affair that helped break his parents up, and whining over blue balls that he blames on Sydney. While Stu's motivation is more terrifyingly random.
Here, I'm far too sensitive.
But also because, let's be real, dude's in love with Bill. Look at these two. I ship them so hard. Few movies can successfully strike a humorous tone while still making you take it seriously. But because Scream puts his likable hero in constant danger, all while presenting a great whodunit mystery that keeps the audience engaged, it's able to be funny without ever sacrificing its authority as a horror movie. I don't care how cliche or common an opinion it's become. I freaking love the original Scream and will forever respect its impact on the favorite movie genre. And that's my list. If you missed any of the Scream kill counts, hit up the playlist, link's right over there. And apologies yet again to my Canadian viewers for whatever reason the Scream 2 kill count was flossing.
Wanna play?
Welcome to Dead Meat, the horror channel where you can get a big serving of your favorite films with a side order of snarky commentary. I'm James A. Janice, and today I'm going to be ranking the 7 Child's Play / Chucky movies from worst to best. Usual caveats apply here. Firstly, these are just my opinions, and it's fine if you have different ones, we don't have to keep it out. But my criteria for judging these movies include how well it's made, like the writing, directing, acting, etc., how much it tries to be something, how much it succeeds in what it's trying to be, how fun or entertaining it is to watch, and of course, the sweet little Chucky. And as always, I'll try to say what I like about all the movies, even the ones I rank low. You've heard this all before. Let's get to the rankings. Number 7. Ranking at the bottom of the Child's Play movies for me is Child's Play 3. By now you should know that I enjoy novelty. I like to see different things, and I'm more willing to forgive a movie's faults if it at least tries to do something new. Child's Play 3 tries to help. It takes the same exact format of the first 2 films and puts it in a military school setting, which I find painfully uninteresting. I've seen all these beats before in 1,000 more movies. I don't need to see them again in a Chucky film. It doesn't help when every character there is just a total stereotype, especially douchey drill instructor Shelton. Hell, they even quote the movie as caricature is lifted from.
This is my rifle, this is my gun, this is for shooting, and this is for fun.
Yeah, real cool, but sorry, but this 15-year-old looking jackass doesn't exactly convey the same threatening manner as Arlie Ermey. This is also the movie where they really upped the number of Chucky.
Don't fuck with it, Chuck.
You know what they say. You just can't keep the good guy down.
But I feel like a lot of them are forced and not funny.
Tampering with the mail is a federal offense. Christo, you dead.
And while having Chucky accidentally scare someone to death is a funny idea that I thoroughly enjoyed, most of the other kills don't really do anything for me, and definitely don't stand out among the series. The movie's not all bad. The opening scene where Chucky kills the toy company executive after scaring him with a bunch of toys is pretty good. The barber Sergeant Botnick is an insane fucking character, but actor Andrew Robinson, friggin' Larry Cotton from Hellraiser, sells the hell out of the performance. He's having a great time. I like Perry Reeves as Andy's love interest De Silva, and the final act of the Carnival Haunted House ride is somewhat interesting, even though that thing's unreasonably huge for Apollo Carnival. Overall, this movie just doesn't bring anything new to the table, and it feels like it was completely phoned in, which isn't a surprise given that it went from concept to release in less than a year. Don't rush your production, folks. Number 6. At number 6 is Seed of Chucky, which I'm sure most people would put dead last. I don't blame them. After Bride of Chucky turned the series onto a more outwardly comedic path, Seed cut the brake line and floored the friggin' pedal. In this, the directorial debut of Don Mancini, who wrote every Chucky movie, there's not a single moment that you can take seriously. Like, hey, maybe you can have some real sympathetic moments in Chucky's confused offspring Glenn because, oh, no way, he's pissing his pants all over the place and getting yelled at by a little British girl for doing so.
You're pissing your pants! You're pissing your pants!
It might be okay if the movie was actually hilarious, but so much of the humor doesn't work. Whether it's injecting a frickin' Britney Spears lookalike in the movie and having Chucky kill her off, while driving, by the way, like that makes any goddamn sense. Or making Chucky, the killer doll that gave so many people nightmares in the late 80s, jerk off into a plastic